Hello and welcome back to my humble show. So I'm going to be dunking on Jimmy Kimmel a little bit. Shame we share the same name. I'm also Jimmy. James to be exact, as a matter of fact. But yes, don't you just miss the days when comedians were just funny? It wouldn't be so bad if when getting into politics they didn't strive to be so politically correct, which just means that they are often quite incorrect. But I saw this clip from Jimmy Kimmel's show on Monday, I believe. Yes, and he said something which was very inaccurate about the killer of Charlie Kirk. He claimed that Charlie Kirk's killer was a member of MAGA. Keep in mind, days and days and days have passed, and even had passed at this point. He should have known better. Maybe he did, and he just lied. Maybe it's that cognitive dissonance kicking in, as per usual. But hear it for yourself. Then I'm going to cut him off and share some thoughts of my own, which I have typed out. Then I'm going to play the actual facts of the case, allegedly, according to District Attorney Jeffrey Gray. But let's start with this.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points.
All right. One more time, let me play that.
We hit some new lows over the weekend.
New lows over the weekend? Really? So, what he's talking about is the response of MAGA. And according to him, it's the fact that MAGA is denying that they did it, even though they didn't. Because this guy, Tyler Robinson, was indeed a leftist. Contrary to what Jimmy Kibbles is saying. Kibbles and bits for brains here.
With the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points.
Right. So, it's like Destiny on Piers Morgan claiming the real tragedy here is that Erica Kirk is giving a 17-minute long speech calling on people to be bold and stand for Christianity and conservatism even stronger than ever. Like, people on the left actually think this way. They think that when someone on the right gets murdered, it's not actually the murder itself that's the real tragedy. It's that people on the right then potentially have something to campaign on, which is understandable for one, but for two isn't even exactly how I would characterize the situation right now. However, I would say that Kimmel is exactly what he is projecting onto the other side. And so much more. So much worse, I should say. But yeah, let me backtrack out of this and share my own thoughts before I get into the press conference comments by DA Jeffrey Gray. Because that's going to be several minutes worth, and I'll just let it play out at the end. But first, my thoughts. And you can feel free to disagree with me. Let me know in the comments below what you think, what you know. I'm going to go through this as quickly as possible. Alright, so Jimmy Kimmel claimed just yesterday, on Monday to be exact, on his show that Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk's assassin, was MAGA. And I'm posting this here to emphasize just how mainstreamed cognitive dissonance is these days. Masses, movements, and media pundits can, for example, look at blue and not only believe that it's red, but proceed to scold anyone who sees the reality of the matter. They're like a dog on a bone, and once they finally are forced to face the truth, they simply look for the next narrative-fitting bone to chew. And by the way, I don't believe he has apologized as of now. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I was just looking, wasn't finding anything. Anyways, that's what happens when you're so convinced that MAGA is worse than murder itself, and that you not only see MAGA in every murder, you also begin to look for reasons to justify the actual murder of MAGA. That's how you end up with leftist lunatics like the aforementioned Destiny, aka Stephen Bonnell, all over social media literally calling for the mass murder of conservatives. Not to mention he was on CNN just a month ago calling Charlie Kirk a spawn of Satan. Yeah, that's what he was saying on CNN just a month ago. No surprise that he is now mocking Erica Kirk, the widow of Charlie Kirk, obviously. I remember, just as a side note, after the fireman was shot at the Trump rally, when the bullet was meant for Trump, Destiny was laughing. He was saying that you deserve to be laughed at if you went to a Trump rally and got murdered. He was saying that if it was his own family members, his own parents, and they went to a Trump rally, they would deserve to die. So, yeah. Lunatic indeed. That's a side note. Didn't want to get too sidetracked there, but you may have been watching the news and seen something about Destiny on Piers Morgan's show, or various clips of him from his Twitch streams, so on and so forth, going around, him saying absolutely unthinkably unacceptable things. But let me continue on with this. My cat has come to say hello. Please do not get in front of my screen, dude. Now, I don't consider myself MAGA because I never cared much for such group-thinking mentalities. But we live in a time when merely having common sense might mean I'm labeled a Nazi, or some nonsense like that, by people whose appreciation for facts extends no further than the fist they threaten to throw to make their point. It's the whole punching a Nazi is justified logic. And by the way, it is ironic how many people who will call you a Nazi if you believe anything remotely conservative, they're simultaneously like Hamas sympathizers who are anti-Israel and anti-Jew broadly. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But what does anymore? If you can watch a video of a man getting publicly slaughtered in one of the most clear cases of politically driven assassination ever and still twist it into an entirely different story, I shudder to think just how many more stories you're capable of being entirely wrong about. And my point is clearly that if you're going to claim to understand the more complex issues in the world, you should first learn to comprehend what's most obvious. Jimmy Kimmel looked at an obvious case of X and decided to tell the world it was Y. And for that, he should be both ashamed and shamed as such a public figure and wannabe thought leader. Then again, in a world where people can't handle facts, not caring about their feelings, it's no surprise that they're advocating for a world in which feelings don't care about facts. #facts. Alright. I'm just going to play through the rest of this now. It's going to jump over to the press conference I mentioned, so we can just have the facts out there in case you missed it, in case you didn't hear the facts through all the foolishness of people like the guy on the screen right now, and I'm not talking about me.
From it.
Approximately 15 minutes into the event, Mr. Kirk was answering a question about mass shootings by transgender individuals.
Timing much.
When a gunshot rang out, the bullet struck Mr. Kirk in the neck. He slumped to the ground almost immediately. The bullet's trajectory passed closely to several other individuals beside Mr. Kirk, including the questioner who was standing directly in front of Mr. Kirk. Children were visible near Mr. Kirk's stage when he was shot. Mr. Kirk was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was declared deceased. Each round in the rifle contained an etched inscription as follows. The fired cartridge was etched, "No Tice's bulge, OWO, what's this?" The second cartridge that was again not spent, the last three were not spent, were not fired. The second, "Hey fascist, catch," with arrow symbols. The third cartridge, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." The fourth cartridge, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO.
So, basically the language of the modern leftist Reddit kid. Maybe some gaming terminology and Antifa wannabe slogans in there. But Jimmy Kimmel would have us believe that this was a Trump supporter. Which, let's just be real. Basic sense of reality here. Common sense. Why would someone who's a Trump supporter assassinate Charlie Kirk? Doesn't even make sense. It's like even more nonsensical than what the likes of Ian Carroll and Candace Owens are saying right now about how Israel is behind it all. Jews are behind it all because they're behind everything, apparently. Probably hiding under your bed right now. Because when they say a who done it, Jew did it. Yeah. When they see a who done it, Jew did it. That's what I say. But yeah. Continuing on here.
Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left.
Fact.
Becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented.
Fact.
She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. When asked why he did it, Robinson explained there is too much evil and the guy, referring to Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate. Police interviewed Robinson's roommate, a biological male who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. The roommate told police that the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting, and he did provide those messages to police. On September 10th, 2025, the roommate received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you're doing. Look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." Police found a photograph of this note. After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Robinson, "I am still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you." Roommate, "Why?" Robinson, "Why did I do it?" Roommate, "Yeah." Robinson, "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out." Roommate, "How long have you been planning this?" Robinson, "A bit over a week, I believe. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The effing messages are mostly a big meme. If I see Notice Bulge UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke all right. I'm going to have to leave it. That really effing sucks."
Crazy how casually this kid, using the term kid loosely since he was 22 years of age, obviously old enough to know better. And honestly, at what age would you not know that it is wrong to murder? I mean, at the age at which you're capable of committing such a heinous act, you should know that it's just that. But that's besides any point that I'm trying to make here. And by the way, there's a lot more that was said in this press conference. I'm just continuing to try to dispute some of the rumors that are somehow still going around out there. If you want the link to the entire press conference, let me know. I don't know why I say that. Sometimes I say, let me know if you need a link, if you want a link. Nobody ever asks me for links. They often find reasons to disagree with me, though. That's fine and dandy. I do the same sometimes. Bit of a contrarian. Just know that if you find a reason to disagree with me, you might at some point become my next show. There's 1 minute left in this. I'm going to go ahead and play it out now. But yes, clearly this is not the case which much of mainstream media portrayed, and that's precisely why I want to play this, just to show that no, this is not just some MAGA supporting straight white male. This is a leftist dissenter from his Republican family who was in a romantic relationship with a male who is attempting to transition to womanhood, apparently. It's a mess. It's a mess. And yes, crazy how the shot was taken right as Charlie Kirk was answering a question about trans-related gun violence and mass shootings, which there have been an increasing number of lately in those particular forms.
Robinson, since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. Again, you are all I worry about, love. That came from Robinson. Roommate, I'm much more worried about you. Robinson, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent.
And so I was with the architects that would design. It's going to be incredible. And they came in, they said, Charlie Kirk is dead. I didn't know what they meant. I said, he was dead. Charlie Kirk was shot. And they thought he was dead because it was so horrific, you know. Mm-hmm. And I said, dead.
And then we installed the most beautiful chandelier, sconces you wouldn't believe. There's something wrong with him. There really is. I mean,
So, Kimmel says, there's something wrong with him, as in Trump. There really is. There's something wrong with Kimmel. There's something wrong with the people in the crowd who are clapping and laughing it up. You know, a man gets murdered and they just put their hands in their pockets and wait for Republicans to respond in any way they can make jokes about. I'm not claiming that Donald Trump's emotions are the most in check emotions in the world. He goes through the motions in a very weird way sometimes, talking about chandeliers and all, but it's not a highlight reel, people. And if you're going to make it a highlight reel, at least get the information right. You disinformation junkie. That's what they peddle in these days. And by the way, what I was saying a few minutes ago before I distracted myself, it is crazy just how casually this, again I say kid, came up with this plot a week beforehand to kill Charlie Kirk, just because he seemed hateful. He thought, Charlie Kirk is hateful. I just can't let that happen anymore. Might as well kill him. Kaput, capiche. That's crazy. But yes. Much was said there. You heard it. Don't need to play it anymore. I'm going to play myself out the door now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Keep in touch. Keep in tune. New content is coming soon. Peace.